Retiring at 65. How bad can it be? I mean, that's when most people are looking to retire. It does seem to be the encouraged age. I mean, even the government seems to, with the state pension age being round about there as well. And according to the ONS's data on retirement, it seems to pan out that way as well, because the average retirement age for women is 64, and for men it's at 65. However, there's a hidden danger at retiring about this age that a lot of people don't seem to talk about, and this danger really can derail what your retirement plans might be. So let's dive into that danger in this video so that you're equipped with the knowledge you need to know to help try and avoid this danger that a lot of people are walking right into. My name's Ross Kelly, I'm a level 4 diploma holder in regulated financial planning, and on this channel we cover everything finance, and that includes retirement. If that sounds of use, be sure to drop in a like and subscribe to keep up to date with the channel. And let's just dive right into the hidden danger of retiring about 65. So this danger, it's linked to a statistic that's called the healthy life expectancy. It's an incredibly important metric, and it's often overlooked as a lot of people don't really realise what it is. What it is the average age that a person can expect to live to before contracting something like a major disease or ending up with some kind of physical disability that would seriously impact their day-to-day life. The World Health Organization gathers this data globally and then ranks all the countries that it gathers it from and ranks them based on their healthy life expectancy. This data is shown on their website, and it's shown in a nice colourful bar graph format, so it's quite easy to understand the rankings. So let's pull up the data and see what that says about, the UK's standard. So we can see the Western Pacific countries are really represented here, in blue leading the pack, with Singapore out in front leading the world with a healthy life expectancy average of 72.4 years. And then just behind Singapore we've got Japan and the Republic of Korea as well. Well, from this we can see that the UK isn't exactly in the top 10 either, so go out a wee bit more, probably in the top 15, something like that. Okay, shit, not the top 15 either, right? Top 20? Nope, not the top 20 either. And there we go, finally. Coming out not terrible, ranked 28th in the world with healthy life expectancy, with an average of 68.2, and we just narrowly beat out China in the rankings as well. Now that I'm looking at it, America isn't here either. Surely they can't be that much further behind us. Jesus, never mind. They're at rank 72 in the world. And that's with that average healthy life expectancy of 62.8. So I think they should maybe, put down the Pop-Tarts, I think. So we could take solace that, at least we've comfortably bet them. But back to the UK, the mathematically astute amongst you might realise that the difference between the average retirement age and the healthy life expectancy age is only about 3 years. And therein lies the crux of this video, because knowing this is so important for trying to plan out your retirement. Another important set of data to look at is from the ONS, and it looks at the percentage of people retired at a certain age. And this graph also compares that percentage of people in 2021 to the percentage of people who were retired in 2011. Obviously this data is a wee bit old now, but it's good to highlight the trend that we were moving in. From this we can see that at the age of 66, funnily enough, 66% of people are retired in 2021. But in 2011, that percentage was 73%. But if we look at the slightly younger age groups, it gets much worse, especially for women. Where in 2011, 42% of people were retired at the age of 62, which is a far cry from only 23% of people being retired at that same age at 2021. And then at 60, only 16% of people were retired in 2021, and this is markedly less than the 27% of people that were retired in 2011. From this data we can clearly see that as time has went on, the percentage of people retiring at younger ages, well, younger ages being 16, early 60s if you can call that young, but yeah, the percentage of people retiring at them ages has dropped quite drastically. Now you might be thinking, well, yeah, obviously that makes sense. With the state pension age going up and life expectancy going up, you can only really expect people to, take a bit longer at work to be able to sustain themselves through a longer expected retirement. And yes, that does make sense, and everything increasing along with it would make this not really a problem at all. But the problem comes from the fact that whilst the retirement age has been increasing, the healthy life expectancy age has actually been decreasing. As previously mentioned, the most recent healthy life expectancy data in the UK says that the age is 68.2. But compare that to what it was in 2011, that was 69.3. This unfortunately highlights the fact that the UK population are not only working longer, but also living a healthy life for a less amount of time. And obviously that's not exactly a combo that anyone would want. So why is this a big deal exactly? Well, obviously when people retire, they're doing that to, well, enjoy the rest of their life. A lot of people retire with dreams and aspirations that they've always really wanted to do but couldn't quite manage while they were working. And now they think that hopefully they'll be able to do these things in retirement. Things like traveling or taking up hobbies that you've always wanted to, or even starting like a new wee side business that you've always wanted to, take a stab at. Early retirement is really meant to be the point in your life that you can really do whatever you want to do. But if you're retiring at 65 and then losing your health at 68, it's a bit of a quick turnaround to check off your bucket list. Now, obviously these are averages, so it's not like when the clock strikes 12 on your 68th birthday, disaster's going to strike Final Destination style. But these stats, they aren't just made up. And while you could get lucky and live to like 80, 90 and have no problems, you could just as equally end up having something go wrong at 50. Now, before you begin to panic, there are some steps you can take to help mitigate this. And I'll cover 3 of them here now. The first of these is to really, really invest in your health. I know it's a cliche saying, but health really is wealth. While I'm not quite an employed financial advisor yet, any job offers are welcome, I can guarantee you that while you might think your financial goals are the most important, your health and maintaining it is so much more important. So never sacrifice your health for trying to achieve these, most of the time, arbitrary financial goals. For example, if you want to eke out just that wee bit more in your lifestyle, and it means that you need to work an extra 3-4 years before you retire, then yeah, that might sound like it's worth it on paper, but that could end up being the difference between having 10 years of really healthy, fit retirement versus only having like 3 or 4. Once that time is passed, there's no amount of money, no investment strategy that's going to make it so that you can buy back that time that's already went by. But what you can do with money is invest it in health so that you can have a bit of extra time moving forward. Again, the time that's already passed is gone, but you can maybe give yourself a bit of more of a buffer in the future if you properly take the time to invest in your own health. These are really simple things. As simple as just making sure that you're buying the right foods. I know in the current economy, these healthier foods are getting a bit on the pricier side, but if you can, don't scrimp out and really invest in these things because they will pay off in the long term. Now, I'm obviously not here sitting saying, never have a takeaway, never have a bit of fast food type of thing. We're only human, and a bit of indulgence is always going to be okay. But that's the thing, just a bit. Don't be stupid with it. And also, make sure you're staying active. This doesn't mean you need to be crushing the gym 5-6 times a week, but it just means getting up and moving about. And that can just be whatever you enjoy doing. Whether that's going out longer walks with your dog, a swim down your local pool, or even, I don't know, playing fives with your pals. Anything like that, just to get your heart rate up and moving, is going to pay off so much in the long run. Keeping yourself mobile and strong enough, and then also making sure your cardiovascular health isn't in the dirt, really is going to pay off so much in your older years. I mean, one of the strongest predictors for how long you're going to live is actually your grip strength when you're older. I normally can never speak in absolutes when it comes to investments. There's so many variables in finance that I can never say this thing will do this good. But I can guarantee you that investing in your health, the ROI on that, is going to outpace any financial investment that you make. The second point I'd like to bring up is really paying attention to your finances, especially if you don't have something like a financial planner helping you out. In order to be able to retire with, a suitable amount of healthy years left, you need to know how much you need to retire. It seems simple, but if I ask you how much do you need to have saved to retire, short of a guess, a lot of you probably couldn't tell me an exact figure. If you're unsure about how to go about working out this, I actually have a video on my channel that goes over this topic in more detail, so be sure to check that out at the end of this video. But one of the key points of that video is being able to balance 3 things: your lifestyle, your expenditure, and your savings. If you can balance your lifestyle, or what you might call your outgoings, with your income so that you're never spending more than you're making and you're able to then save, which is the third thing, you'll be able to effectively plan for retirement, and if you do it well enough, you'll be able to retire earlier than most. Spending less than you make is crucial, as you really do need to save up if you want to retire early, as a lot of products and things involved with retirement are kind of age gated, meaning that you can only really use them once you hit a certain age. These types of things are pensions, lifetime ISAs, or even like the state pension. You can only use these when you hit a certain age, and as such you need to have savings in other products like ISAs to be able to bridge the income gap so that you can make it to these stages to help supplement your retirement. So it's not just about how much you're saving, but what you're saving into. You need to find the balance between stuff like your pensions and your ISAs. And similarly, I have other videos on this channel covering these topics. There's also things that I'll plan to cover in the future, such as what your investments in these wrappers like ISAs and SIPs are actually invested into, as this is also pretty important. Now, when I say that, I don't actually mean like what stocks are invested into, as according to the research, the specific stocks isn't actually the major driving factor in returns over the long term when it comes to saving for retirement. Believe it or not, the factor that's actually the most impactful to your returns over the long term, at least is what's been shown in the academic literature, is asset allocation, which is basically just, are you investing in equity or are you investing in bonds? That whole debate has been something I've really been diving into recently, and I do plan on making a video about a recent academic paper that covers it. It's kind of shaking up the discussion at the moment, but I do plan on going into it in a lot of detail on this channel. So be sure to, subscribe and stick around if you want to hear about that. It is tricky stuff, and if you're not maybe necessarily comfortable getting down in amongst the weeds for all this stuff, consistently every month, every day even, then it might be worthwhile reaching out to a professional like a financial planner, and even just seeing if you can book some kind of informal chat just to talk through your situation and see if it's worthwhile for you to, get their services. The main difficulty people have when it comes to saving for retirement is actually their emotions. We know that if you put this money into these investments over the course of 50 years, there's a pretty strong chance that you're going to walk out of it with more money as a result. But that path isn't a straight line. The markets move up and down. I mean, in 2008, the S&P dropped nearly 60% from its all-time highs. If you're in that position and you're looking at your savings, seeing that it's more than halved in value, you're going to feel pretty antsy and you're going to not be sure what to do, and you're going to end up making just not smart decisions. And that's where a financial planner really comes into their own, because they're able to, stay the course and make sure you don't make any rash decisions. Obviously, if you're a stalwart, ice cold, diamond hands investor, and that stuff doesn't bother you, you'll probably be all right in the long term. But that isn't most people. Most people think they might be like that, but again, when they look at down in their investment app and they see minus 50%, a lot of people might think that they would be fine, end up really not being fine. But yeah, don't worry. Soon I'll be able to hopefully offer them services and help you guys out, assuming I get a job soon enough. Job offers are certainly welcome. And the last point that will help you with this issue is, getting a sense of urgency about it. Unless you're feeling lucky and willing to throw the dice when it comes to your health, or you just, for whatever reason, don't care about your health in retirement, after watching this video, you should have a real fire under your arse when it comes to getting this stuff sorted and not falling into this trap almost that a lot of people are likely going to find themselves in. Knowing that the healthy life expectancy in the UK is only 3 years more than the average retirement age really should motivate you to want to get out and retire earlier than maybe you feel comfortable doing, so that you can enjoy a longer period of your retirement in a healthy state. And you might feel like you do need to keep working to hit that lifestyle that you really want, but you need to ask yourself, is living on 40 grand a year at 100% of your health, is that actually worse than living on 50 or 60 grand a year, but you're only at 50% of the health? That's just something that you need to ask yourself. You also need to be realistic with your own health situation. How healthy are you now? And how healthy have you been throughout your life? And look at your family's health. Are you maybe predisposed to some genetic conditions or a history of heart disease in your family? These things are important to bear in mind when you're planning for this stuff. Once you hit 60, you actually only have about 416 healthy weeks of living left on average. It might sound like a lot, but that time will fly by. I know this might sound a bit strange and weird coming from someone who's relatively young for this subject, or maybe you're similar ages to me or even younger watching this video. But life happens faster than you can ever plan for. And as such, I plan to the best of my ability, we're only human, to try and be as proactive as possible towards this. This is something that there's nothing lost about being early to it, but there's a definite consequence if you're late to it. But on that hopefully inspirational note, that brings us to the end of the video. If you found anything in this video useful, or put a little bit of a fire underneath you, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It really does help the channel out a lot. As mentioned earlier, there's another video on this channel that goes over 9 signs that you might be ready to retire early. You can click on it just here, and that'll walk through it in a bit more detail. And if not, until next time.